Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Saturday Bhagavad Gita class. Let's do the Mangalacharan prayers and then we'll start. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakabalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanutam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are on chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized. We have done till verse 37 since last week. So the section that we are on, which is now the second section of Bhagavad Gita, the fourth section of Bhagavad Gita, which starts from 38 to 53. Here, Krishna will now answer Arjuna's question on fear of sinful reactions, because he had given the argument. Then what will happen when I will be killing, even if they are aggressors, the people who are attacking us just for the piece of land? They are the aggressors, and killing the aggressors, as you say, it is not a sinful reaction, but I'll be still killing them. So killing anyone will also have the reaction, opposite action. So now Krishna is going to answer that by using Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama Karma Yoga, so which is stay from all sinful reactions. So we'll chant the verse. Please unmute yourself. Sukha dukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayau tato yuddhaya yujyasva
Tato yuddhaya yujasva
naivam papam avapsasi.
naivam papam avapsyasi.
Sukha dukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayo.
Dukhe dukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayo.
Tato yuddhaya yujjasva naivam papam avapsyasi.
Tato
Yuddhaya
yuddhaya
yujasva
yujasva
naivam
naivam
papam
papam avapsasi.
avapsyasi.
Full shloka in one go. Sukha dukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayo. Tato yuddhaya yujjasva naivam papam avapsyasi.
Sukhe dukhe same
Kritva
kritva
labha
labha labho
labho
jaya
jaya
jayo.
jayo.
Tato
Tato
yuddhaya
yuddhaya
yujasva
yujasva
naivam
naivam
papam
papam
avapsyasi.
avapsasi.
Word to word. Sukha, happiness.
Sukha
Happiness,
happiness,
Dukkhe and distress.
Dukhe and
dukhe and
distress,
distress,
Same in equanimity.
same
in
in
equanimity,
equanimity.
Kritva, doing so.
Kritva
Kritva,
doing
doing so,
so,
Labha, alabhau. Both
Labha,
profit and
pro-
loss.
Labha, Alabha, both profit and loss.
Jaya, ajayu. Both victory and defeat.
Jaya, Ajayu,
both
both victory
victory
and
and
defeat.
defeat.
Tataha, thereafter.
Tataha, thereafter.
Thereafter,
Yuddhaya, for the sake of fighting.
Yuddhaya,
Yudhaya,
for the sake of fighting.
Yujjasva, engage. Fight.
Yujasva, engage.
Engage.
Na, never.
Na, never.
Evam, in this way.
Evam,
In this way,
Papam, sinful reaction.
Papam, sinful reaction.
Avapsasi, you will gain.
yes,
Avapyasi,
you
you will
will gain.
gain.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin. Repeat. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin. I hope you must have gone through the purport. So, sukha dukkhe, same kritva, be equipoised. Be equipoised in happiness and distress in both the places because you are a devotee. So, be equipoised in happiness and distress, labha labhu, in gain or loss, jaya ajayu, victory or failure. What is the difference between the two? Labha and alabha can be in various endeavors. Jaya ajayu, profit and loss can also be transitional. During a battle, we can gain sometime or lose sometimes. But jaya means eventual victory. Tato yuddhaya yujjasva, be equipoised among all these things. Yuddhaya yujjasva, so fight for the sake of fighting. Naivam papam avapsasi, then you will gain no sinful reaction. In the first chapter, I think 36th verse, Arjuna is saying, papam eva shrayets asman, hatvaina ita atatayina. So he's calling them Atatai. They are, they are Atatai. They are aggressors. They are terrorists, basically. Atatai. If I will kill these Atatai, then I will get Papa. But Krishna is responding here, right? Nevam Papam Avapsasi. You will not get Papa. How? Because you are working with detachment. You are equipoised because that is the first condition, that you are equipoised equipoised, labha, labho, jaya, jayo, in both the cases. So you will not get pa. How? Because you are detached and you are fighting because it is your duty, being a Kshatriya. Being a Kshatriya, it is your duty to fight. And by not fighting for victory, so at this stage, Krishna seems to have almost contradicted himself, basically. In previous verse, Krishna said, if you lose, you will get heaven. If you win, you will get kingdom and rule the earth. So either way, you are gaining something, right? But here he is saying just opposite to what he said earlier. So Krishna has talked on profit and loss calculation because this chapter is also called as a Sankhya Yoga, which is the analytical study. So Sankhya is Sankhya. Sankhya means numbers. Numbers means calculation, analysis, comparison, forecasting, all these things will come into picture. So the profit and loss calculation has said how practicing the karma kanda level of religion and therefore doing kshatriya dharma of fighting, it would be the best for him. So he has just talked to profit and loss calculation, and just now he has changed stake and says now that don't think in terms of profit and loss. Last time he said, just look at there is no profit and there is no loss. Even if you don't win, you will come to heaven. And if you win, then you are able to do you get the kingdom and you are able to lord over the entire earth. So profit and loss, think in terms of doing your duty, give up calculation of profit and loss. This seems like a U-turn, basically. U-turn in what way? In thinking not in terms of action. In both the cases, he is saying fight only, but for motivation of fighting. There is sudden and enormous change, if you look at that way. And this change is in both the cases, like whether you win or you lose. He's saying fight only, but for motivation of fighting. Yeah. Why is that? Because Shri Krishna is taking Arjuna one layer higher in yoga ladder. Right. So, yoga ladder, we see that first is the union. Yeah. And then we start looking at the inner. You need to see internal. Look at the Atma, Paramatma. Yeah. So he was talking about Karma Kanda now. He is talking about Karma Yoga now. Acting in detachment. And Srila Prabhupada has also quoted in the purport, there is a verse which is Devarashi Bhutatma Nrinam Pitranam Na Kinkaro Nayam Rinicha Rajan Sarvatmana Yah Charanam Shayanam Gato Mukundam Parihari Kartam. Anyone who has completely surrendered unto Krishna, Mukunda, giving up all other duties is no longer a debtor. Nor he is obliged to anyone. Not the demigods, not the sages, nor the people in general, nor kinsmen, nor humanity, nor forefathers. So this verse comes from the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, 5th chapter, 41 verse. So this is, the indirect hint given by Krishna to Arjuna in this verse that, and the matter will be more clearly explained in the next verse now. So when we go to the next verse, it will be more clarified to us, that what Krishna is actually talking about in this verse. Yeah. Any questions in this regard? So Krishna is clearly saying that remain equipoised because you are a devotee. And being a devotee, remain equipoised in both the situations, whether it's a labha labho or jaya ajayo. In both the cases, remain equipoised. That makes sense? Yeah. All right. Now we come to 39th verse, which is again the part of the fourth section of which we are continuing to. So Krishna now here will answer the fear of sinful reaction again, and he will take it further in this verse. So the reaction of sinful, the sinful reactions, the argument that Arjuna gave, and how he's countering now Krishna. Krishna is countering that. He will address by telling how by working with the Nishkama Karma Yoga, you can stay free from all sinful reactions. He's furthering his talk from the last verse 38 and 39 now. So now Krishna, realizing Arjun's bewilderment, and he decides to explain him what is happening. Why is Krishna speaking in contradictory terms? One way he's talking about the heaven, or or being a king of the entire earth, and then he's talking about profit and loss calculation. Now give up profit and loss calculation as well. So Krishna explains that in this verse. So this is a very important transitional verse in second chapter. So he's transiting now from Sankhya Yoga analytical discussion to a yoga ladder, which is taking to the next level, which is Buddhi Yoga. Okay. So this is how we need to understand the chapters, the how the chapters sequentially, being created. So how the gradual expansion of Bhagavad Gita is for us, So verse 39. Esha te bihita sankhye
एषा ते विहिता साङ्ख्ये
उत्तर योगे त्विमां शृणु
बुद्धिर्योगे त्वां शृणु
बुद्ध्यायुक्तो यया पार्थ
बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ
कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि
कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि
एषा ति विहिता साङ्ख्ये
एषा ते विहिता साङ्ख्ये
उत्तरयोगे त्विमां शृणु
बुद्धिर्योगे त्वां
शृणु
बुद्ध्यायुक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि
कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि
One line at a time. Esha ti bihita sankhe buddhir-yoge tvimam shrunu.
एषा ते विहिता साङ्ख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वां शृणु
बुद्ध्यायुक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि.
बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ
कर्मबन्धं
प्रहास्यसि
First shloka in one go. Esha ti bihita sankhe buddhir-yoge tvimam shrunu. Buddha-yukto yaya partha karma-bandham prahasyasi.
एषा ते विहिता साङ्ख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वां शृणु
बुद्धया
युक्तो
यया
कर्मबन्धं
प्रहास्यसि
Okay, word to word. Esha, all this.
Esha, all this
Te, unto you.
Te
unto you
Abhihita, described.
Abhihita
described
Sankhye, in analytical study.
Sankhye
in analytical study.
Buddhi, intelligence.
Buddhi, intelligence.
Yoge, in work without fruity result.
In work without fruitive result.
Two, but.
But
Imam, this.
Imam
this
Shrudu, just here.
Shrudu, just here.
Buddhya, by intelligence.
Buddhya
by
by
intelligence.
intelligence
Yuktah, dovetailed.
dovetailed
Yaya, by which.
By which
Partha, O son of Pritha.
Partha, O son of Pritha.
Karma
Karma-bandham, bondage of reaction.
Karma
Bandham,
bondage of reaction.
Prahasyasi, you can be released from.
Prahasyasi, you can
be released
released
from.
from.
Yeah. Thus far, translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thus far, I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results, that is Nishkama Karma Yoga. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. I repeat, thus far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of work. Okay. So here, Isha te Bihita Sankhya. Till now, I have explained by Sankhya Yoga, by analytical study. Now, Buddhir Yoge to Imam Shrudu. Now I will explain it by Buddhi Yoga. So what I will explain? Buddha Yukto Yaya Partha. When you work with your intelligence, then Karma Bandham Prahasyasi. You will be able to break through the bondage of karma. So you no longer have to suffer Karma Bandham Prahasyasi. You will break it apart. So when you work with your Buddhi Yoga, then you will be coming out of that karma bandhana. Ishate Bhita Sankhya. Now there are several important terms. There is Sankhya, Buddhi Yoga, and Yukta. And so let us look at these words, individually now. So first of all, let's say Sankhya. So till now, the word Sankhya is not directly used in Bhagavad Gita. So although some traditional commentator referred chapter 2 as Sankhya Yoga. But Sankhya basically means analysis, because to deal with numbers like counting, comparing, forecasting, etc. So Eshate Bihita Sankhya Buddhir Yoge Tvam Imam Shrunu. Till now I explained through Sankhya analysis from 2.11 to 2.30. This is not how Krishna has said in Kurukshetra that 2.11 ho gaya, now it is coming to 2.30. Not like that. So we are just talking in terms of this book, the Bhagavad Gita as it is. So in 2.11, what I said, and now in 2.30 was analysis that you are not body, you are a spirit soul. So counting the elements of existence. So we look at various elements and we go beyond those elements to understand the soul. So after Sankhya, Krishna talks about Karma Kanda. And then combining these two through Buddhi Yoga. So as we know, there are 6 different systems of philosophies. One of them is Sankhya. Okay. One of them is Sankhya, and which is propagated by Kapila. So there are 2 types of Kapilas here, There is a atheistic Kapila and here is a Kapil Dev. So Kapila Dev is the son of Devahuti. Both have talked about the Sankhya Yoga. Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan was an acharya. He has talked in the atheistic way of comparison and Sankhya Yoga, which is some part of which was taken from the who's the atheistic Kapila. So Baldev Vidyabhushan explained in the Govinda Bhashya commentary that sometimes the great sages, though they themselves would be learned in some way, they come under the influence of illusory energy of the Lord. And because of that, they sometimes speak philosophies which are not in accordance with the conclusion of the Vedas. So atheistic Sankhya teachings are not credited much. They are discounted by Acharya, who has given Vedic wisdom to us. Okay. So the Sankhya, which Lord Kapil Dev teaches us, concludes in devotional service. And after we analyze the elements of material nature, then when we move forward and try to understand how those elements combine together, and they all help us to move closer and deeper understanding of reality. In this context, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that Sankhya will ultimately conclude in devotional service. What is Buddhi? Buddhi means intelligence, etc., etc. You know. So once you have Buddhi, then you will develop your intelligence. Once you develop the intelligence, that intelligence plus Buddhi will give rise to many other things which by the combination of these two you can do. So Sankhya is analysis and Buddhi is internalizing that wisdom. So internalization is what that devotees work basically. Just by listening to uh, the discussion of on Bhagavad Gita, we should have that realization and internalization of that wisdom. Then only it makes a difference, whole lot of difference, and it will change your life. So changing the life by reading the Shastra is more important than just by listening to somebody. Yeah, because I feel very good whenever I listen to the classes. That is one way of looking at it. Second way is, oh, I feel very good when I listen to the, to the saints. At least something good is going in my ear. But if you are not internalizing that, coming out of a saintly class and then going and eating pani puri outside on a thela does not make any sense, because then you have not internalized it. That devotees are supposed to be eating prasadam. Prabhupada has also explained the Buddhi Yoga in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Very, very, vast discussion, and there are so many verses in which Srila Prabhupada has talked about, and there is a summary that purport Prabhupada has given very beautiful, uh, uh, explanation of various terms. Like in the famous verses, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Te Yanam Mama Upayanti Te. So Krishna explained how those who serve me lovingly, I give them intelligence by which they will come to me. So Buddhi Yoga ultimately at the highest level of intelligence. And that is given by whom? By Krishna. And to whom? Those who are lovingly devoting their life in the service to Krishna. And that happens with Buddhi Yoga. So ultimately, the Buddhi Yoga is what? It is the highest level of intelligence given by Krishna by which one can return to him. So Krishna has not yet referred himself directly as a person in Bhagavad Gita as God. Of course, Shri Bhagavana Uvacha is there already. But as reference to him as God, like, in the further verses, when we come across, Yam Yam Vapi Smarana Bhava and all that, there is a small hint of, that he's talking about himself. Hmm? And there are other verses in which he is directly then talking about himself. When we go across to other chapters, we will come to know slowly. I don't want to jump you, otherwise it will be confusing. So he has not directly referred himself as a Bhagavan till now. So in the context of the flow of Bhagavad Gita, Buddhi Yoga refers not so much to Krishna as God till now. So Buddhi Yoga as an intelligence by God, which to come to him, but basically refers as intelligence that enables one to do yoga. And that yoga is the union with the God. Or maybe at this stage, the union with Paramatma, which is the internalization of the knowledge, because Paramatma resides in the region of the heart. So intelligence by which one can connect to the deeper reality of life. So yoga is connection and buddhi, intelligence. So buddhi yoga is intelligence by which one connects to the deeper reality of life. So as the flow of Bhagavad Gita will move forward, we will understand Buddhi Yoga in its most complete sense in Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga starts from chapter, which chapter, Varun? Chapter 7 to chapter 12. Okay, so this is how the Bhakti Yoga starts. So here we have to understand the subtler inner dynamics of Bhagavad Gita. So what do we mean by that? Words generally do not have meanings that are frozen permanently in a dictionary. Words have meaning according to the context. So word Buddhi Yoga with inner dynamics of Bhagavad Gita assumes different meanings. So as we move forward in the 10th chapter where the Buddhi Yoga is totally talked about, Krishna explains the Buddhi Yoga is intelligence by which we can come back to him. So that is true. But because Sri Krishna has not referred to himself till now in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has not referred to coming back to himself as goal of life. So in this context, from the point of view of flow of Bhagavad Gita, the word Buddhi Yoga means the buddhi by which we apply the knowledge which is given earlier. So if one understands that I am not the body, I am the spirit soul, then what should one do based on that? So one level, I should not be afraid of death, but I should look for post-mortem definition, what happens to me after death. So one level, the post-mortem is, I will go to heaven. But if not heaven, then at least I will come back to this material world and will have a better life than what I am having now. Yeah. So one is, if you look at the first level of postmortem, is that he will have a temporary, residence in the heaven. And second level, he will have higher than heaven and is a liberation. So if one will do punya, one gets heaven. But if one acts with detachment, one will get something higher than that. So Krishna is going to take the discussion one level higher by saying that use your buddhi to understand and detach yourself from all these things. So use your buddhi to segregate between the body and the soul. And then act accordingly. So do the yoga. Which kind of yoga? Now do the Buddhi Yoga. So when Krishna is saying work without bondage, karma bandham prayasasi, you will be free from bondage by this. So Srila Prabhupada mentioned in his purport, Buddhi Yoga is therefore the transcendental quality of the work that we perform. So Buddhi Yoga is not just for work by transcendental quality of the work. That means the motivation with which we are doing the work. Why I am working like this? I am working for Sri Krishna's sake. Or am I working for my own enjoyment? When I understand and act accordingly, therefore the transcendental quality of the work that we perform is Buddhi Yoga. So we need to understand, the qualitatively that what we are doing Buddhi Yoga. After understanding what are the, what benefits are not there using the Sankhya Yoga, which is analytical study, and by doing the comparison all the time. Okay. Any questions?
Prabhuji, did you say chapter 7 to chapter 10, Buddhi Yoga?
No. Chapter 10. Buddhi, see, chapter 7 to chapter 12 is pure bhakti. From 13 till end, we have Buddhi Yoga.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now, I'm not sure how many of you have read the purport for 39. That's why I had to explain much deeper level for that particular verse. Now we come to verse number 40. So we are still continuing on the same section. Now Krishna will start further to what we are talking now in the Buddhi Yoga section. Right? Neha bhikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate
प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते
स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य
स्वल्पमपि अस्य धर्मस्य
त्रायते महतो भयात्
त्रायते महतो भयात्
देहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति
नेहाभिक्रमणास्ति
प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते
प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते
स्वल्पमस्य धर्मस्य
स्वल्पमपस्य धर्मस्य
त्रायते महतो भयात्.
त्रायते महतो भयात्.
One line at a time. नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते
नेहाभिक्रमणास्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते
स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्.
स्वल्पमपि अस्य धर्मस्य
त्रायते
यदि
महतो
महतो भयात्.
नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते
नेहाभिक्रमणानोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते
स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्.
स्वल्पमस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्.
Full shloka in one go. नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्.
नेहाभिक्रमणानोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्.
Word to word. Na, there is not.
Na, there is not.
Iha, in this yoga.
Iha, in this yoga.
Abhikrama, in endeavoring.
Endeavoring.
Nashah, loss.
Nasha, loss.
Asti, there is.
Asti, there is.
Pratyavayaha, diminution.
Pratyavaha, diminution.
Na, never.
Never.
Vidyate, there is.
Vidyate, there is.
Sualpam, a little.
Sualpam, a little.
Api, although.
Although.
Asya of this,
Asya of this,
dharmasya occupation,
dharmasya occupation,
prayate releases,
prayate releases,
mahatah from very great,
mahata from very great,
bhayat danger.
bhayat danger.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. I'll repeat. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So, Neha Bikram Nastosti. In this endeavor, Abhikrama na so asti. There is no nasa that will be happen. So there will be no destruction and no pratyavayo na vidyate. There is no destruction and no diminution also. So things will not decrease. Also, swa alpam. Swa alpam api asya dharmasya. That even if one does a little dharma, trayate mahato bhaya, one will be freed from the greatest of the fear. It is the guarantee, you know. What is the LIC's slogan in India?
जीवन के साथ भी जीवन के बाद भी.
No, they have a shloka they have used in that.
Vaham, something.
Yeah. Go on.
I'm not able to remember the whole thing. Just that Shemam, Vaham, Sheham, something like that.
Yoga kshemam vahamyaham.
Yes.
Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. They have used that. But what is the real yoga? They don't know. They just use that as the, yoga kshemam vahamyaham. So here it is saying that, so if we do a little bit yoga here, the trayate mahato bhayat, one will be freed from the greatest of the fear. So what is this he is referring to? Actually, now Lord Krishna has not stated here that attainment of heaven is temporary. That he will state later in the maybe ninth chapter. Yeah. So for those devotees who are constantly thinking of him, then yoga kshemam avabhyam, I preserve that they have and I provide what they lack. So in this verse, because Krishna has not talked about himself, now so it is not explicitly devotional. So there Krishna says, I personally protect them for the devotees, but here Krishna is talking in general for those who are in transcendental path, that whatever they strive for, it will not be lost, and whatever they achieve, not only stay with them forever, but he will save them from greatest dangers. Also, for example, you know Ajamil's story. He chanted name of Narayan. His son's name was Narayan. So while he was dying, he just called his name because he loved him a lot. So just by doing that, what happened? The Vishnu Dutas came and then took him to, to Krishna Loka. So whatever they strive is for is not lost and will save them from greater danger. So when we practice spiritual life, we are trying to gain, which is eternal. So everything else, what we gain, we achieve it for a short time and then it is lost. But when we practice Krishna consciousness, whatever attraction for Krishna we have, it will stay for every lifetime. After lifetime and every lifetime thereafter as well. So how we understand that Krishna consciousness are eternal? Its gains are eternal. So here Krishna is talking about the credits of aiming for spiritual goal. Any attraction towards spirituality is greater and long-lasting effect than material. So neha vikrama nashosti, that is whatever one attains on the spiritual path. So that is never lost, and that stays with one forever. So Prabhupada has quoted same verse from Srimad Bhagavatam in his purport as well. So this theme will be explored more in the chapter 6 and onwards, where we talk more on the pure bhakti. Before that, the 6th chapter, where we is talking about, the mana and buddhi and chanchala, mana buddhi and all that. So even a person falls into is practicing Krishna consciousness, that will not be a permanent fall. Because this bank balance always remains there. It does not get lost. Whatever you do, it remains there with you. You don't get, there's no loss even if you stop doing it for some time. But before, better not to stop. Why should you stop? Isn't it? Any questions?
Prabhuji, that yogam shemam vahamiham, which shloka is that, Prabhuji?
I'll also check. I don't
Okay.
remember it. I'll have to see.
I think it's in 8th chapter, 7th chapter.
Yeah, something like that.
I remember you teaching us with that symbol.
Yeah, I know. I've talked about that many times. Yeah. So now we are still in the same path of Bhakti Yoga. So we'll talk about verse 41 now, right? We did the 40. All these shlokas are so beautiful. Vyavasayatmika buddhir
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर्
ekeha kurunandana
एकेह कुरुनन्दन
bahushakhayanantascha
बहुशाखायनन्तश्च
buddhayo vyavasayanam
यो व्यवसायनम्
vyavasayatmika buddhir
व्यवसायात्मिका
व्यवसायात्मिका
बुद्धिर्
ekeha kurunandana
एकेह
बुद्धिः
कुरुनन्दन
कुरुनन्दना
bahushakahi anantascha
बहुशाखाहि अनन्दश्च
buddhayo vyavasayinam.
बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्
One line at a time. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana
व्यवसायात्मिका
व्यवसायात्मिका
बुद्धिर्
बुद्धिरेकेह
कुरुनन्दन
कुरुनन्दना
bahushakhayanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam.
बहुशाखाहि
बहुशाखायनन्तश्च
अनन्तश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्
Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana
व्यवसाय
व्यवसायात्मिका
आत्मिका
बुद्धिर्
बुद्धिरेके कुरुनन्दना
कुरुनन्दन
Ushakhayanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam.
बहुशाखाहि
बहुशाखायनन्तश्च
अनन्तश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम्
Shloka in one go. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahushakhayanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam.
व्यवसायात्मिका
व्यवसायात्मिका
बुद्धिरेके
बुद्धिरेके
कुरुनन्दना
कुरुनन्दन
बहुशाखाहि अनन्तश्च
बहुशाखायनन्तश्च
बुद्धयो
बुद्धये
व्यवसायिनाम्
व्यवसायिनाम्
Word to word. Vyavasayatmika, resolute in Krishna consciousness.
Vyavasayikamika
resolute
in
in
Krishna
Krishna
consciousness.
Buddhi, intelligence.
Buddhi, intelligence.
Eka, only one.
Eka, only one.
Iha, in this world.
Iha in
In
this
this
world.
world.
Guru Nandana, O beloved child of the Gurus.
Nandana, O beloved
Beloved
child of the Gurus.
Bahushakha, having various branches.
Bahushakha, having various branches.
He indeed.
He indeed.
Ananta, unlimited.
Ananta,
Unlimited.
Cha also.
Cha also.
Buddhaya, intelligence.
Kaya, intelligence.
Avyavasayina, of those who are not in Krishna consciousness.
Of those who are not in
of
Krishna
those who are
consciousness.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Those who are in this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Gurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. I repeat, those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Gurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. You're not repeating.
Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Gurus,
the
the
intelligence
intelligence
of
of those
those
who are
who are
irresolute is
resolute
many
is many
branched.
branched.
All right. So here, one thing is noticeable that he is now calling him a beloved child of Gurus. So every time, Krishna is calling him with various names depending on the context. So, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. One's buddhi has to be one-pointed. It has to be fixed. And Ekeha Kurunandana. And at one place, Ekeha Kurunandana cha. On the other hand, those people who are not fixed, like this, their intelligence is Bahushakha. Yeah. So those who are Bahushakha, and how many shakas? Anantascha. Unlimited shaka for whom? Buddhayo Vyavasayinam. Vyavasayinam are those people whose buddhi is Vyavasayi, business minded, and it is not fixed at one place. So here we see that Krishna is telling Arjuna to become one-pointed indirectly. He's telling this by saying the contrast to these people's intelligence is fixed and these people whose intelligence is multi-branched and it is dissipated. When we wanted to do something, we have to focus. The more we let our intelligence distributed, we get it dissipated. Look at the javelin throw people, when they are running with a jewel in their hand, yeah. So their point is absolutely, they are clear that I have to go and hit it there. So javelin should go that far. If it is not hitting the target, but at least it should be crossing those number of meters, isn't it? So there, one-pointed attention. So it is not multi-branch. That time they don't care who's sitting in the stadium, who is there behind me, how many people are watching, etc., etc. Their intelligence is one-pointed attention, with a one-pointed attention. So we have to focus. The more we let our intelligence distributed, we get it dissipated. So when desires crowds our mind, the dilemmas cloud our intelligence. Clouding means it will be very difficult to decide. too many desires cannot be fit in 24 hours a day. Like when we are going on some travel, if we try to fit whole house in our bags, yeah. So do you think that in one suitcase probably, or two suitcases maybe? So it's not possible. We need to decide what are the things we have to carry. Similarly, we have to streamline things and make proper priority. We should be one pointed. So generally, when we want to practice Krishna consciousness, we have to be Ekeha Kurunandana. To the extent we are one pointed, to the extent we can practice Krishna consciousness diligently. If we are not one pointed, then we take a very interesting angle. So if you are not one pointed, then what has to happen? It is very difficult to perceive Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada, in his purport, he gives, much more, what do you call, explanation to this, that he says that if you don't focus too much on the second part, Bahushakha, hi Anantascha, but more focus on Ekeha Kurunandana of the shloka, the one-pointedness. So how do we get this one-pointedness? Otherwise, there is difficulty in perseverance. Perseverance is more important than the Bahushakhaya. See, if somebody is perceiving something, then only he will be able to pay attention to that and will be one-pointed focused. So how to remain fixed in single point? Like Olympic gold medalist or mountain climbing, we need to focus on one thing. A world-class cricketer only focus on cricket. That is fantastically, and he will get the level that he wanted to. And that if you are fanatical, if you're a fanatic, then what is going to happen? You're neither here nor there. If someone wants to become maybe those who understand cricket, so I'm just giving an analogy. So if you're a spin bowler, if you want to also do the batting as an opener, that's not possible, in normal circumstances. Either you do this or you do that. A spin bowler can't become a wicket keeper at the same time. Right? A batsman can become a wicket keeper. The same way, our studies as well. So if we want to advance in Krishna consciousness, then we need to be focused. So there are many things that in Srila Prabhupada's mission, and Krishna wants the whole world to be delivered, and he wants us to, become Ekeha Kurunandana. Ekeha Kurunandana. So now, why is he called Kurunandana here, not the Pratha, Partha? Why is he not called Nandanandana? Sorry, son of Pandu. Why is he not called that with those names? Because amongst all the Kauravas, he has been chosen as a person who should be able to concentrate on the instructions of Krishna. That is why he has been chosen. Ekeha Kurunandana. So if we internalize these verses, we get to understand more and more. And we should be able to, talk about it, discuss about it more. But I can only, coordinate the classes that I'm giving, but apart from this, people should be able to, create the reading groups where you can speak, you can talk to each other, and discuss about Krishna. That way, the internalization will be more powerful than just by waiting for the weekly class or listening to somebody. Because end of the day, we all have to reproduce what we are learning. And reproduction will happen only when we speak about it, we talk about it, we read about it together. And when devotees are, discussing about Krishna, Krishna comes there. There is no difference between Krishna and his name. There is no difference between Krishna and his Krishna Prasadam. So tomorrow is our service in the temple. So before we end, let's do a Vaishnava Pranam, and then we'll talk about tomorrow's service. Okay. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shri Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.